Hello, everyone. My name is Tanae Costley, host of Real Talk Business and Motivation. It is Tuesday night, so I am coming to you live with another episode, and I'm bringing a lovely special guest. He is a content creator, entrepreneur. He has a detail shop. And he is also a retired fireman, which is pretty interesting. He has made content into a job, guys, making $35,000 in those bonuses total and $22K alone last month. He has a lot of things to share. On top of that, brand collaborations, charging $350 per video. So if you can imagine, he is maximizing his social media to the fullest. And this is what I call leveraging. So without further ado, I want to introduce him. His name is Matthew Fleshman.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
I am doing good. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for the intro. Appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Of course. And I'm super excited to have you on this show. Now, Matt, one thing I can say is that you got my attention by you posting how serious you take content. Like you said, content was a job. But before we get into all of that, I do want you just to give a little bit about your background. How did you get into creating content?
Sure. So I was a fireman, and in 2014, unfortunately, I was seriously injured on the job. And, fireman schedules are very, we only work about 10 days a month. So for basically the last 30 years, as kind of a side hustle, I detailed cars 1 to 2 days a week. After I was hurt and realized I couldn't continue in that line of work, I turned a side hustle into a full-time business. I think just like any business, people want to know, how can I grow my business and how can I do that the most cost-effective way? Well, fortunately, we have social media today. It's something that just didn't exist 20 years ago. So by using social media to really be able to demonstrate and show what we're capable of, my content started to grow very slowly, but I wasn't really taking it serious. It was just as simple as posting pictures before and afters. But I started to realize that eventually I was getting traction with that. And that kind of transitioned from just doing, kind of like still image slideshows to actually full length videos to show not only before and afters, but also how we were doing it. And it just, I don't know, just one day it just kind of clicked. I noticed my followers started to increase dramatically. My video views started to increase dramatically. And I realized, there's something really here. And so I was able to take something that was both a passion, a job, and I use that for motivation to create content. And I just have never looked back. And I kind of laugh because I've had so many people, make a comment, why do you waste so much time creating content and doing social media and kind of making fun of me? And I try to stay humble, but at some point I have to say, well, look what it's got me to achieve at this point. I mean, from a financial standpoint, and being able to leverage that with now starting to work with brands and doing collaborations, it just is, it's taken off beyond my wildest dreams.
Wow. Now that is truly amazing. And first off, I do want to say thank you for your service. Being a fireman is definitely phenomenal. And the fact that you have been able to transition to a full-time entrepreneur and content creator, that is super dope. So I know you have a lot of insight, a lot of tips, a lot of tricks to share tonight with everyone who is watching, who is in the Real Play program, or who is just looking to build their business or leverage their social media in general. So can you tell me how long have you been in the Real Play Bonuses program?
So my invite started in January of this year. So this is going to be month number 4. And it's so weird because I just happened to see this message, within my Facebook notifications. I didn't really even know anything about it. I was more doing TikTok and Instagram. But I happened to see somebody talk about on TikTok, hey, making up to $35,000 is pretty interesting on Facebook Reels. And I was like, what is it? Because I was already uploading Reels. I was already sharing that content.
Same.
And so it wasn't like I was doing anything different. So I looked into it and I thought, well, what the heck, let's just do it. And I had a very short first bonus month. It was like 14 or 15 days and I make like $1,600. And my wife kept saying, yeah, I'll see it when the actual money's deposited. And I remember when, I showed her the first notification because the first month's income was $5,400. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's a lot than that's better than a lot of people have done, especially their first month.
Absolutely. And so I was just shocked. And once I realized that, yes, this is legit, that Facebook's got to pay me, I really started to look at my content and look to see what type of videos were doing well. And I've actually really kind of transitioned what I was doing. I think one thing that all content creators have to do, and if they're not already doing this, this is probably one of the most important ones, is you have to know your audience. Facebook provides, if you go into your professional dashboard, they provide analytics. They will tell you how many views you're getting, how many people are liking your stuff, how many people are engaging the post, what the age ranges are of your people, what's the mix between male and female, what's the age group. And what I found kind of really interesting about Facebook Reels is that my audience on Facebook Reels is completely different than the other social media platforms that I'm on. My content being automotive oriented is typically going to be 90% male, go figure.
Right.
What's interesting is though on Facebook, I am a 53-47 split between male and female. So I'm almost 50-50 on male and female. So I have to take that into account. So I started to look at, of course, what's the age range of the people looking at our content, because it does vary between platforms. And so I really had to change to some degree what I was doing and kind of some of the content. And that comes down to, trends and things changing. So I think number one, if you're struggling with content, if your content is not getting the views you want, you're not getting the followers that you want, take a look at the content and take a look at the age group of the folks that are following you. If you're making content talking about, stuff that maybe only a 20 or 30-year-old would want to look at, but the people that follow you the most are in their 50s and 60s, if you want to, again, make money on Reels, you're going to have to shift. And I think that's something, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you always have to understand that everything is fluid and you have to make changes as necessary.
Agree. Got to be prepared to pivot, right?
Always be prepared, because you just never know how things are going to change. And I realize some of this is general because everybody does make different content. But you have to be, and this as a business owner, things can change at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And you always have to have a plan. The old saying, and I tell my kids this all the time, I think every saying exists for a reason. So they have that saying of, failing to plan is planning to fail. And you have to have a clear path of what you're getting ready to do. It's so important.
I agree. I totally agree. So now that you have said that, now can you enlighten everyone on how many times would you say you post, either daily or weekly? And
Sure.
how many times do you post in to make that amount?
So I do have an upload schedule. And again, it comes back to thinking about, when are people on social media? Depending on the platform, and obviously we're talking about Facebook, there is 300 to 500 people, and now with Reels being expanded, worldwide that are seeing your content. But most likely your content's going to be viewed in the United States and Canada and Mexico. So you got to think about it. What's the first thing most people do when they wake up in the morning? They pick their phone up and they start scrolling social media. Yes. So that 6 a.m., 7 a.m. time frame, and I know that seems like it's very early, but again, this is a business. It's a 24-hour day business. I like to have one uploaded 6 or 7 a.m. so that when you're laying in bed scrolling, I want to be one of the first people that you watch. So there's that. The next time people are going to be scrolling is going to be around lunchtime. So think about it. You're at work and you're taking a break. What are you going to do? You're going to be flipping through social media.
Yeah.
I also do an upload at 3:00 because people are sitting in line at school waiting for their kids in pickup line. So what are they doing? They're scrolling social media. And then I typically do one, between 5 and 8, so right after dinner time and then right before bed. And so generally I will post, depending on the day and the type of content, between 3 to 5 videos per day. Does it happen every day? I find that, because I have a 1 day a week that I produce content that towards the end of the week, I might start slowing down a little bit on the content just because while I want to be consistent and consistency does pay off, I don't want to just put out junk. So if it means I'm only putting up 2 to 3 videos that day versus 5, so be it. Because quality, in my opinion, quality does matter.
Quality over quantity, right?
Always. Because, if you think about it, maybe this is the first time somebody has seen your video.
Right.
We have to give them a reason to want to follow us. If it's a junky video, the next time they see it, they're like, I saw that guy, it's junk.
I do it all the time.
Scroll. Right, I know. and so it's not about good or bad or right or wrong. It's just if you're not interested, you're not interested. And so also given the fact that you never know when a video is going to go viral, you might as well spend the time and produce good quality content versus just throwing some junk out there. Because most likely the junk's not going to get a view and you just wasted your time. And as we all know, time is money, especially if you are, especially if you're making content around your business. I spend just about every hour of the day either producing content, especially on the 1 day a week that we do it, but I have so many things to do. All my time is valuable and I have to use it the most effectively.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And we do have someone who says that they saw you post your schedule last week and started using it and definitely see a difference. Now, you posting your schedule definitely got my attention. I was like, wow, he's taking content seriously like a job. So I need to bring him on the show because I see so many people worried about, monetizing or my bonus amount is not increasing. But it's like, how much work do you put into your content? Like, are you just throwing it out there for quantity, or are you really focused on the quality? And just to go over that, guys, this guy right here, he is big on the lighting. This is a snapshot that I took out the group. This is him. Content day, right? Content day, Matthew?
Correct. Absolutely.
Can you just explain like your setup and why you set it up like this?
Sure. So I take 1 day per week. It's generally Thursday. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. Part of what goes into that is obviously we're utilizing vehicles. So we have a very large prop that we're using. So some of it's going to depend on the prop itself, the vehicle, and what we're planning on doing. Because each week I have a plan as far as what is going to be the theme of this week's video content. Is it going to be educational, informational? Is it going to be all satisfying ASMR videos? Is it going to be humor? Is it going to be how-tos? Is it going to cover a specific topic? So for me, in order to be efficient, so for instance, actually content creation day is going to be tomorrow. After offer, I will probably spend 2 to 3 hours tonight getting everything set up.
Wow. Because hold on. Let's not breeze past that. This guy said 2 to 3 hours just setting up for content day. So this is not the time that he's taking doing the content, but this is just your setup process.
Correct, because
3 hours to set up.
We have lighting that we have to deal with because lighting, guys, I'm telling you, lighting on your videos is extremely important. Visually, like for instance, if you look at this picture, you notice the cart that's got all the towels and those pads on there. You notice how everything is perfectly folded, perfectly placed.
Oh, yeah.
All the polishes on the small carts are perfectly positioned in place. They're all faced. It seems like maybe no big deal to you, but subtle things. I can't tell you how many comments I get about, holy cow, look at the number of this, or look at the number of that, or look at the equipment. again, you have such a small amount of time when someone comes across your video to gain their attention. And if the content is not quality, meaning there's not good lighting, it doesn't look professional and organized, there's not a trending little song. And I want to talk about kind of something I did last week and the result it got
Okay.
with doing that. And I'll explain my thought process of why I did what I did on the video.
Okay.
So visually, when you see this content, especially from the direction that it's shot, it's gonna catch your attention, especially, if you're in my niche of automotive detailing and that. But I'm doing things on purpose to make sure that when you first see that video, you're saying, wow. Just look at it. There's something there that's going to catch it, whether it's the lighting, the song, the way the towels are folded, the number of polishing pads I have, the vehicle, whatever it is. But you have to give them reasons to want to engage while watching your content. And so and so that's why I take the time.
Wow. So guys, if you are just tuning in, I have Matthew here. He is a content creator, a full-time entrepreneur. He has a auto detail shop and he is a retired fireman. So he has been able to successfully make $35,000 total in the Facebook Rose Play Bonuses program, making $22,000 alone just last month. On top of that, this exposure has been able to get him national brand collaborations where he is charging $350 per video. So if you're doing the math, like I'm doing the math, and like Matthew said, he has been able to triple his income by the content that he is creating. But catch this, guys. He's not just doing quantity over quality. He's actually focused on the setup, spending 2 to 3 hours just to set this up, guys. And this kind of looks perfectionist now that you pointed out, like the folding of the towels and how you have everything laid. I knew it was neat, but once I zoom in, I'm just like, oh my God. You really take this content creation seriously, and it's showing that it has paid off significantly for you. So I just want to commend you on everything that you have been able to accomplish. And just for a little recap of the people who are just joining right now, to be clear, you said you post about 3 to 5 times a day, starting at 6 a.m. lunchtime. And
so 3 to 5 videos a day. I would highly encourage everyone to have a content upload schedule. Okay. And again, I do it in the morning because most people are laying in bed, either laying in bed scrolling, watching the news, eating, whatever they're doing. That midday time when people are going to lunch and they are sitting around and at their desk eating, they're going to be scrolling through content. I do one around 3 o'clock in the afternoon because people are getting off work, or they're sitting in a line waiting for kids to get picked up at school for 35 minutes. And guess what they're doing in their car? They're scrolling social media. So I want to upload then. I do one around 5 to 6 o'clock at night. Again, right before or after dinner time, people are going to be scrolling. And then about 8 o'clock at night because it's right before people are going to bed. So when you start thinking just about habits, my cat that jumped up, when you start thinking about habits you start thinking about how habits of people just get through life. When do you start scrolling through social media? Breakfast, lunchtime, when you're sitting around having nothing to do, right before dinner, right before bed. So again, it's a strategy. None of this stuff happens as far as success with social media. It doesn't happen by accident. Yes, I know there's some luck involved. Occasionally you will get a little bit lucky, but it's not. I deal with very large content creators on other platforms, and it's shocking how much time, consideration, and effort goes into their videos and the thought process. None of it's an accident. That I can promise you. It's all due to
a lot of people. Yeah. I would definitely agree. I think a lot of people in the the Facebook group debating you, whether it was luck or not. And I see you staying firm on how you strongly feel that content creation is a job. It's not luck, it's strategy. And that's why I thought it was so important to bring you on here for we can just have an overview of content strategy, what works and what doesn't work. So, guys, if you tune in, I hope you have your notepad. I hope you taking mental notes. I hope you really taking these gems in, especially if you're in the Rose Play Bonuses program and you're trying to maximize, if you're trying to leverage your social media. This is stuff that you should be taking note of. The reason that I have this live every Tuesday is where I can bring you another guest, because what works for one person might not work for the next. Or you can just take bits and pieces of a little bit of everybody and figure out what is the strategy that works best for you, because everyone's audience is different. Like Matt said, just figuring out your audience. And I kind of want to go back a little bit to how you said you pay attention to the analytics on each individual social platform. And I think a lot of people just say, oh, you know, my niche, and just make assumptions of who they think is watching, but not really paying attention to those analytics. And you're saying that it differs on Facebook than on TikTok, right?
Absolutely. Who's ever on this live right now, if you have the ability to, look on your phone or look on your dashboard, open up your professional dashboard. Okay. Click the See More Insights. Okay. So first
talking about
off,
this?
Yes, ma'am. So, on your professional dashboard, this is what's going to be brought up here. It's all going to be on your profile overview. Right at the very top, it tells you how many people did your post reach. So for the last, I think this is a 28-day view, 13,879,928 people saw my videos. And that's great. But here's the thing. The real number is the interactions. You go down to the bottom. Of the 13 million people that saw my videos, over 10 million people interacted or engaged with that video, meaning they watched it. That's important because, again, and I see it all the time in the group, you have to create engaging content. People need a reason to want to watch your video, because what happens is people just start scrolling and they just start scrolling. And you think about, you do it yourself. Once you see something that's good, you stop. The question is what are you doing to make somebody want to stop? But what's also important here is looking at on the interactions is, are those numbers going up? Because we talk about being able to pivot or changing up your content. If, let's say, you're having a great run and you start seeing your post engagements are great, your reactions are great, your comments are great, everything is a green number, and all of a sudden now you're down. You can blame the algorithm all you want. Okay. That's just an excuse. And look, I'm a tough love guy. Okay.
I see. I like it though. Assertive.
I'm a tough love guy. I like to be supportive, but at the same time, when your videos aren't doing well, it's not the algorithm. It's not Facebook shutting off your views. It's your content. You change something about it or didn't change something. And that's the other thing, is I think people get stuck in this rut of producing the exact same type of content, only with maybe a different picture. Meaning, let's say you like pens, okay? So you're seeing pens, and this pen is great. And all you're doing is making content about this pen. And you get one video that looks good, so I'm going to keep making content about this pen. Well, guess what? People get tired of it. All right? People get tired of this pen. You know what you need to start going to? You're going to start going to something different, like the iPod case or whatever it is. So if you're seeing a drop in your content, it's not the algorithm, guys, it's you. The algorithm, and I understand it does change slightly, but overall, if you're not getting the views, it's probably because you either changed your content or you're not changing your content. So paying attention to the analytics is important. Knowing the audience. If you go back into your analytics, I think I sent you this screenshot. If you scroll, this would be once you're in your professional dashboard, you click the see details. If you scroll to the very bottom, it's going to show you your audience. So my audience, and this is very unusual, on TikTok and Instagram, I'm a 90-10 split. 90% of my content is looked at by men. 10% by women. On Facebook, it's 53% men, 47% women. So I would tell you, who's ever on here on the live, if you have the ability, go in right now, and I want you to start taking a look at that. And I'm curious, did you even know what the average age of your audience is and what's the split of men and women? Because if you're creating content that's only geared towards one particular subset, you're not allowing yourself to open up to other people. Good content means engagement, which means more followers. The more followers you have, by default, the more views you're going to get. It's just simple math. It really is. And so you need to understand, are you making content to your audience? It seems complicated, but it's really not. You just have to know. So analytics and content is engaging because, like I said, on other platforms, there it is right there. So that is the interesting thing. So even though my stuff is primarily automotive related, it's almost an even split. And look at the age group, 25 to 65. That's a huge range. Somebody asked me the other day, what would I attribute that to? I think I attribute it to is I try to do a lot of satisfying ASMR type of videos, seem to do very well on Facebook. People like to watch, or listen to the sounds of detailing or watching, somebody in a time lapse clean something. So I think that's what I really attribute that to.
Okay, great. Because I believe that was someone's question. Let's see. Someone says, my views are great, or repost. No, actually it wasn't that one. We'll come back to this one. How about adding audio? Is there any tips on this? So you say use the original audio that you're creating a video, like if you're doing something like you're doing as far as like detailing the cars, like the sound of the wash and stuff, or are you using trending?
Yeah, so I think it's going to vary. Obviously, for me, what I do may not work for you, and I understand that. And I hope you can get a single tip. Recommendations, though, I think across most social media platforms are, and if you guys are not aware of this, the music industry is a big factor into social media as far as songs, trending songs, available songs. And so obviously, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they're getting paid a revenue source, just like radio stations. Because by the way, no one listens to the radio and nobody buys CDs. They just download music or they have a subscription. So nobody's purchasing content. So one of the way these music companies make money is by boosting it through social media. So I think if it's appropriate to the video and it adds value, absolutely use a trending sound or music. And Facebook's gotten a lot better here in the last few months about adding more trending music. I think a lot of us were used to creating content on TikTok, and then they jumped over here and they're like, this music's terrible. But then for me, a lot of my satisfying videos are literally just the sound of what I'm doing. It's the sound of a brush brushing or of a power washer going or of a spray bottle spraying. So there are no actual music, but it's just a satisfying sound. So I think using that original type of sound or a trending song, I think it does help.
Okay, but for you personally, you you don't really use trending audio, right? For you personally?
No, I do, but it depends on the video. Because like I said, I have different subsets. I have satisfying videos. Mm-hmm. Typically on a satisfying video, it's a time lapse of me doing something. So there's not going to be a sound recorded. So I will use most likely a trending song. And I want to touch on that. Remember, we were kind of talking earlier about a strategy I had, and I want you to see the result of it. Mm-hmm. So for a satisfying video, yes, I'll try to use a trending song or a song that people like. Obviously, for ASMR, the sound is the sound of what I'm doing. Okay. On informational ones where I try to either do a voiceover or I try to use a text-to-speech situation where I have words on the screen and those words are being read by the computer, so it's being auto-generated. You'll always notice, though, I will still have a song playing at about 20% volume. So I'm mixing the audio. So I'll have 100% audio of whatever is being discussed, but I'll always have a little bit of music being played underneath there as well, just kind of in the background. And then My fourth category is I always try to do one humorous video a week.
Okay.
So, you try to make it up because you don't want your content to get boring.
Exactly.
So I do think there is value in using trending songs or a song. Like when I'm creating content, I'll bounce things off of other people. Like I'll be sitting there playing and I'll just kind of start going through. And what I'll wait for is for my wife, when she hears a song, to maybe start dancing or moving her head. And I'm like, that's the song. If that caught your attention, that's exactly what I want to use because that's what I need somebody else to do. Again, I'm trying to engage you. It may be the song at first, and then you start watching.
Okay.
So bounce your ideas off of other people if you have that option. Let them listen to the stuff before you upload it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Now, I know you mentioned that you are on other social platforms. So, how are you doing on TikTok and are you on Instagram?
I am. So, TikTok is doing very well. TikTok, I average approximately 3.6 million views a week is pretty much my average.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it does good. And there's ups and downs with that, but for the most part, I'm averaging over 3 million views a week. And followers are growing. I mean, everything is growing very steadily. Instagram is something, as you know, is a very difficult platform to get traction on. For me, one of the things that I did in the last month is I'm utilizing, even though I get more total views on Facebook, I get much quicker views on TikTok. I can upload one TikTok and have 500,000 views in 24 hours. That may take a week on Facebook. But what I'm doing is I'm getting folks on TikTok and I'm leveraging my TikTok account to get people through a contest. This happens to be a contest that I ran. And in order to register those, you had to follow me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram. And I picked up almost 1,000 followers on Instagram in like a week. And now all of a sudden, that's hard to do. And I know there are some people that will say, well, once they don't win, they'll unsubscribe. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But here's what it has done is adding that 1,000 followers on Instagram in about a week and a half has now pushed my real views up on Instagram from getting maybe 400 to 500 views to 2,000 to 3,000 every single time. And now what's happened is, guess what? Now just organically, people are following me. So now I'm picking up 20, 30, 40, 50 extra people a week. I know it's going to be a slow growth, but here's the thing. Social media, you can always have one video that you might get a little pop, 5,000, 10,000 people follow you on TikTok or Facebook. But you're looking for that continuous organic growth of, 10, 15% a week. It takes time.
I would agree. So that call to action is important.
Absolutely.
That call to action is important. So guys, if you're listening and you're feeling stuck, start utilizing call of action. And I do think that contest is a great way to engage your followers because everyone loves free stuff. So can you tell us more about what was your contest and what was the prize?
Yeah, so being in automotive detailing, some of the equipment is very expensive. And so when you start looking at the monetization rates and prices between Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Reels is the winner by far. I mean, 100 to 1 to any other platform. Okay. On TikTok, I earn approximately $350, $400 a month on TikTok. So I said, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money for me. It may be a lot of money for you, and I get that. But I want to reinvest the money that I'm earning, both on Reels, on TikTok, on Instagram, back into my business, just like any other business. So I have, we talk about having multiple income streams. One of my income streams is social media, but you always have to be investing. So what I did is I am giving away a polisher that is the most desirable polisher that somebody could have in the detailing industry. It's by Rupes. It's the most common one. The problem is, especially for a lot of guys, and this is where my content on TikTok is focused, it's really meant for young men and women who are just starting out in our industry, don't have a lot of money. So that's what I gear things for. I kind of gear it as detailing on a budget. Well, the challenge is on those budget pieces of equipment that they're using, time is money and their efficiency with it is not very good. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take the money that I earned from TikTok last month and I'm going to reinvest in my business and I'm going to grow my Instagram account. So I'm going to give this polisher. It's $435 and I'm paying for it. It's not like I was given it by the manufacturer. So I'm going to take the $400 that I made last month in TikTok and I'm going to start this contest, but I'm going to grow my Instagram account with it. And so it was very simple. I posted the TikTok and said, this is what you got to do. You got to go and you got to follow me on TikTok. You got to follow me on Instagram and you have to comment Rupes. Okay. And it just took off like fire. I mean, it's amazing how quickly that worked. And literally, like I said, I picked up 1,000 followers on Instagram in about a week and a half. So again, always be reinvesting. You have a call to action. People have to work. It's not hard. I mean, all you got to do is, go to the top. You like me, you follow me, a comment, it's done. And people will do it.
Yeah. So I think that's really awesome. The fact that, you're trying different stuff. Because a lot of time, like you said, people stay stuck into the same type of content or the same type of call of actions, but they're not trying different things and different approaches. Because in order to really figure out your strategy for your audience, the key is trying, trying different approaches
Absolutely.
and paying attention to your analytics and seeing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So I do want to say that you're the first guest I've had who stressed like a contest and a giveaway. And that is definitely a smart move. It's a win-win, especially when you're making money and you're leveraging your social media, but also able to give back in a way that you keep your audience engaged. And in return, you're gaining followers and you're gaining views. And that is being able to be monetized. So you're getting the money right back. So that just brings me to another question before I get into the viewers' questions, because I do see a few. But I would like to know, with the money that you have made so far in Rose Play bonuses, what have you been able to do? Like, have you been able to buy anything that you always wanted to? Are you just reinvesting it back into your business? Is there like a big purchase that you're made or anything in particular?
Well, I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and it comes down to a strategy for success.
Mm-hmm.
It's very common to want to, if you have this nice little bump of extra money, and that's why I think this program is called the bonus. It's a nice bonus.
Yeah.
It's income outside of what you're normally used to making. However, you've got two choices. You can go spend money on stuff, okay? Meaning you can buy yourself. I last month I made over $22,000 in the bonus reels program. I could have taken a really nice trip. I could have bought an expensive watch. I could have bought my wife some really expensive shoes. And that's great. And you do need to treat yourself occasionally. However, what I'm doing with that money is I'm reinvesting it in my business, the detail shop, and I'm transforming my space into something that's far more visually appealing. I'm going to spend probably $15,000 over the next 3 weeks transforming the space that we're in, changing and reinvesting in better equipment, just to make what I'm doing visually that much more appealing. I'm going to also use some of this money to do a little bit of travel. One of the big events that there's lots of content that can be created is going to be the SEMA show in November. It's the largest automotive show. It's going to be in Las Vegas, but it's going to cost money.
Oh,
so
wow. That's going to be great for your audience, though, and your content.
It is. So for me, I'm going to reinvest right now. I'm going to put my money and buy things that are going to make me money.
I love it. I love it. And I think that's so important that you brought that up, because sometimes, a lot of people who haven't saw like a lump sum of money, or some people, let's be honest, this is not just their extra income. This is not just their bonuses, but this is like all the income that they have right now. Just to keep it real for a second, because sometimes I forget we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and a lot of people
Absolutely
might still be bouncing back. A lot of people might still be in between jobs and not have a job, and saw this as an opportunity to be able to supplement the income that they have. So for those people, like, I do understand, especially when it's your only income. But for my business owners, for my content creators, for the people that have already been building a brand, who have another source of income and building their business, like, you should really be taking this money and reinvesting it into your business to make more money, because sometimes that goes over people's head. They like, hey, I got a little change, let me go take this trip, or let me go buy this or buy that. But are you taking at least a percentage of your money and reinvesting it back into yourself and your business in order for you to keep growing? So, like Matthew, he takes his quality very serious. He takes his space very serious that he makes content in, and he's reinvesting it into what he's doing. And I think that's great. So I did just want to point that out. So guys, I hope if you are making money in this program that you are thinking smart, okay? Because we like to play smarter, not harder. So I feel like if you just spending your money on things that are pointless and not going to make you more money, then that's you having to play harder in the long run, because who knows how long this bonuses will be around, or if they're capping it. Still on the fence right now if they're capping it, because I've seen some people make over 80K and not be renewed at this point. So we're still trying to figure out, okay, like, are they catching on, and once you make a certain amount, are they going to cap it off? Or not, but you never know, because this is a new program. We're still figuring out. Facebook and Instagram is still rolling it out, and they're really in control. So if this is your only source of income, I hope that you're paying your bills, or I hope that you're reinvesting back into yourself, because Lord knows, like, I don't want anyone to have like a breakdown if they're not, and this just happens to go away. So I do think that is very, very important. And thank you for sharing that. Now, I know one of the questions, I know you have something to add
What?
on.
No. Well, here's what I was going to tell you. The one thing, and you made a very valuable point, but the one
Mhm.
thing I think that everybody needs to also not forget is you got to save a little money for the taxes. I
Ooh,
don't
that's
want you
good.
to
I
get,
forgot to say that part.
do not get yourself in trouble. The IRS is going to want their share.
Yeah, I think that's so important. So, guys, please make sure you're saving that, because you don't want to get into a situation where you don't have your taxes saved up. Okay, so put a put a percentage aside just for your taxes. So make sure you pay attention. Um, One of the things that I wanted to get into that I know a lot of people don't fully understand is brand collaborations. And since you
Mm-hmm.
are doing so great with your brand collaboration, can you just walk me through that quickly of how you got into the brand collaboration? Like, did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to
Mm-hmm.
them?
It's a little bit of both. Primarily, just through content, I've had people reach out to me and say, "Hey, look, we like what you're doing. We see that you." And the comment I typically get is, I try to be very transparent, and it really is coming from TikTok. I try to be as transparent as I can with what I'm doing, meaning if I make a mistake, I show it. If something isn't good, I tell you that it's good. And so I've had most of the people reach out and say, here's an idea. What can we do? And that's really how it is. But it's just getting noticed. It's just getting noticed. But it's putting out quality content and doing stuff to get people's attention.
Agreed. So you are taking the initiative as well to reach out to these national brands, but then on the back end, you do have some of
Absolutely.
these brands reaching out to you.
No, I reach out to national brands all the time and shoot ideas. Directly message them. You would be shocked by simply sending a direct message with an idea on their social media, how many people will
Mhm.
actually respond. They may not like your idea, but you would be surprised by just simply sending out direct messages, and saying, I have an idea. What do you think about this? And it may not pay you money at first, but it starts to get you the exposure, and the exposure is key.
Yeah, I do agree. So now, when it comes to these brand collaborations, and I know you charge $350 per
Mm-hmm.
video. Now, did you come up with that proposal, or did someone initially offer you 350 and say, "Hey, this is what I'm rolling with"?
No, I have a good friend who professionally creates content and manages social media
Mhm.
for several, decent size brands, and he kind of helped me guide it, as I actually had no idea. I had
Okay.
no idea.
I think that's
So
important. So if you're watching, pay attention right now. You're
yeah,
interested in getting into brand collaborations on top of reels. I think this is important.
yeah. No, I had somebody with far more experience than me help me, and I think that's vital. Reach out to people who know way more than you.
I do think that's important. Well, that is dope. How many brand collaborations or how many videos would you say you have done so far?
Almost 10 at this point.
Okay.
Um, and it's all geared towards what we're doing here. And of the 10 videos, 8 of those 10 were reached out to me. I didn't even do anything.
Oh, wow.
It just, you wake up in the morning and there's some Instagram message, that says, hey, I had somebody comment on the video, check your DM. And I look, and it was somebody just wanting to do some type of collaboration. Um, it, I think people are always afraid to reach out to a large brand. What's the worst that could happen? They say no.
Exactly.
What if they
Exactly.
say yes?
I am super big on that, taking the initiative and being proactive. And especially if you are creating content and you are already using a company's products or services in some type of way, it's like, hey, hey, I did use your product in my video, and hey, like Matthew said, you can take the I have an idea approach, or you can send them a video that you're already done. It's just taking that initiative to let them know that you're there. Like, because a lot of times these big brands won't even know that you exist unless you actually
Absolutely.
take the initiative, right?
What I find is when I continuously get a question about something that I'm using, I'll start to make a few videos of it and I'll send it to them and say, hey, I just want to let you know, this is the product that I've already been using from you. I've been using it for years. I love it. I think it's great. I've had, look at these 3 videos. Look at the number of comments people ask me, what light do I use? What brush do I use? Whatever it is. And I continuously am saying it's this, it's this, it's this. Well, you know what? Why not work on something together? Because clearly my viewers want to know what I'm using and they trust me.
Right.
Let's work on a collaboration together because they have trust in what I'm telling them.
Smart, smart. And one thing I can say, because we have a lot of like spammers going around, or just, I would
Mm,
just say a lot of spam in general. A lot of people don't feel comfortable checking their DMs, or a lot of people don't have clarity like to decipher between if it's spam or if it's like real, as far as like these national brands or just people in general, because it don't even have to be a big brand, it could be a small
right.
brand. Like, what is your vetting process? Like, how do you vet out a potential collaboration to know that it's
Sure.
actually real and not fake?
So the first thing I do is once I get it is I share them with them my business phone number and email address and let them know they need to email me on my
Hmm.
business account. And I need a contact number from somebody because I'd rather talk to them in person. Because I tell
Right.
them in text and DMs, a lot of things can get lost in translation. I'd rather speak to you in person over the phone. And then obviously I will have them send me the information. They'll call me, I'll call them. And then, it's not hard to Google, is Bob Smith the marketing director at Harbor Freight? Or, it's not
For
hard.
sure.
So that's what I do. I want to talk to you in person.
Right. I do think that's so important. So, guys, if you are listening, it is so important when you do have these companies that reach out to you in your DMs to give them your information, and also try to have a phone conversation with them. Try to take it outside of social media. That way you can
Always.
have some type of direct type of communication, collaboration. I'm real big on not letting things drag along. So, I totally like that approach that you got going on, because I want to get to the direct source and I want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time as content creators, especially if you're spending 2 to 3 hours like Matt here just setting up for content day, that time is money and that you don't have time to waste. So when it comes to things like that, just make sure that you are vetting, you're being thorough, and you are doing your research. Now, guys, it is time to answer some questions. So if you do have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. And if you are just tuning in, I have Matthew here. He is a content creator, a full-time entrepreneur, owner of an auto detail shop, His niche is is around creating content for car detailing and car culture, and he's been very successful, making 35,000 in Facebook Reels play bonuses total, and 22,000 alone just last month. On top of this, this guy is working smarter, not harder. So his exposure has led him to be able to charge $350 per video when it comes to working with national brands for collaboration. So guys, if you are not taking the initiative just to leverage your social media in all types of ways, like let's not think one track and reels. Let's take it another level, take it up another notch, and let's try to do brand collaborations and try to make money outside of reels too, because we don't know how long Reels Play bonuses will be around. So if you're creating a lot of content, guys, you need to maximize your resources. So a lot of things come with exposure, and a lot of things come with quality over quantity. I do think quantity is important. Like if you can push content out, like you can push 10 videos a day, because I had someone that pushed 20 to 30 a day, which was I thought was personally crazy. But it is doable. So it's just really interesting seeing what works for one person and what works for another. But I do think if you can incorporate quality with quantity, then so be it, because it's a win-win. But make sure you're not losing that quality just to post more videos. So I do want to say that, and try that giveaway, try that content, especially if you're struggling. And that way you're able to kind of cross build. I want to say that's like cross building on multiple platforms when you do a contest, and you tell someone, hey, this is a contest, but you got to follow me on Instagram. You got to follow me on TikTok. Then you got to come back and share my video or something. It's all helping you build your social media presence and leverage your platforms, and helping you not leave money on the table. Let's be honest. Hope you guys are listening to these gems. If you are just tuning in, please subscribe. Please feel free to share and drop your comments in the chat. I go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a special guest, where we drop tips and gems, and I allow them to share their motivational story, guys. So I know that you are probably super excited to get into some of the questions, Matt. So I'm not sure if you can see them. That's on.
I do.
Side. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Right. So I do want to start off by going back to Giselle Riches. Her question was, my views are great every post, but I am not making nearly as much. Is there a reason that you know of? My views are great every post, but I'm not making nearly as much. Is there a reason that you know of?
Well, I mean, I would have to look at her stuff individually here, because I think everything is relative. What might be great to one person is not great to others. My question would be, though, is if your views are great, views on Facebook Reels directly translates into income. So if you're getting, and remember that the more money you make, the more money per view it goes down, because it starts off, the first 1,000 is $14 up to $140, and then it drops to $2, and then it goes to $1.60. So you have to remember that the more views you're getting, the more money per view that you're going to be paid out. To put things into perspective from an income standpoint, last month my Reels bonus was $22,000. That required 27 million views to get there. But if you're not, so that 22,152 was 27 million views. Currently, I think when I sent you that screenshot yesterday, just to kind of give you an example, at 155 yesterday, I was at that $5,000 mark. That was my current one at the very top, the $5,009. So at 155 yesterday, it was at $5,009. I wish I would have sent you the screenshot of how many actual views that was. But effectively 24 hours later, my current bonus is $6,000. $606. So
Woo,
$1,600.
jump.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
$1,600. So again, if you're not making as much, there's also a possibility that some of your stuff was demonetized too. If you're getting the views but not seeing your income go up, maybe something was demonetized. That's about the only thing I can really think of.
Right.
If you're getting views, because it's the video is still going to play, and the counter, I believe, should still work. But if you're not seeing the income go up, it's probably because something was demonetized or there's some type of violation. So Jazar, I'm happy to look at your stuff and send you a DM if I can figure it out, though. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. Well, thank you. And let's see. Someone said my views are an issue.
So my views are an issue. I will have people tell me get content, but I have to get one view, and that's it. I want to push out further. Again, Chrissy, I think
this is a new person. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when people are struggling for their views, I think the first thing that you have to look at is how many followers do you have? Just from an organic growth standpoint, if you only have, let's say, 500 followers and someone else has 30,000 followers, just by the sheer numbers of followers, the person with 30,000 is going to have more views. In the beginning, it can be a very challenging grind because you're making content, and you're not getting the followers, the views that you want. The first thing I would say is, let's look at the content that you're doing. Is it engaging? Meaning, is there a song that's capturing their attention? Is the first 1 to 2 seconds of that video something so amazing that makes them want to watch? I'm going to give you a quick example. Last week, I posted a very simple video. It's a time lapse of me cleaning my garage floor. I have to do it before every paint correction and coating to make sure there's nothing on that floor that could contaminate it, okay? It's a satisfying video. People like to watch time lapse of a little short guy running around with a mop, okay? It's a 9-second video. So it's satisfying, so people like to watch it. But you want to know what the catch to that video was. And by the way, last check, it was posted less than a week ago. Last check, it was at 1.2 million views in less than a week. But you know what the hook was? If you're between the ages between, let's say, 25 and 60, everybody's heard the Reading Rainbow song, right? It's a trending song right now. You know what song I'm talking about? The Reading Rainbow song.
Can you do like a little?
Yeah, it's a song, Butterfly in the Sky. I can go twice as high. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, come on. You didn't watch Reading Rainbow?
I'm 21. It's like, But I haven't heard, but some of the trended ones I haven't heard, but still.
But here's the point. A lot of people know that song from the very get-go. And the overall comment was, oh, that brought me back to when I was 7. Or, come on, bro, you really use that song? So the point is, it caught their attention because of the song. And between it being satisfying and a song that people, can identify with, that's the reason why the video got so many views. So again,
they know the Reading Rainbow one. Okay.
See?
Yeah. You doing a good impersonation of it, guys, because maybe I know it and maybe it just wasn't. I don't know, but she knows it, so it has to be popular. It has to be trending. So.
Yeah, and it is. It's trending on TikTok and it's trending on Facebook. So, but again, I looked at it and said, okay, what can I do with this to make this thing work? Because I can assure you, if I put another song, it would have gotten okay views, but not that many. So again, look at your content. If it's not quick, it's not catchy, it may cause you some challenges. So look at content first. Ask people opinion. And remember, when you ask opinions, you may not get back the feedback that you want to hear, but that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Okay. Now, same person, Chrissy, she says, I'm also an entrepreneur, newly a content creator. Do you find a conflict issue and or brains okay with it? Well, one thing I do want to chime in and say, if you are an entrepreneur, you are some sort of content creator already, because if you are not on social media trying to build your brand or your business, then you are already like missing out on money. You're leaving money on the table by not marketing yourself on social media. I do a lot of social media marketing for my clients, and that is never really a conflict unless when it comes to the brand collaboration, you sell like the same type of products, or you offer like the same type of services.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way it would be like a conflict of interest. But besides that, as an entrepreneur, you should be thinking of yourself as a content creator, because it's 2022, guys, and it's so much competition. I, yeah, let's just be straightforward. I would say it's competition because so
Absolutely.
many businesses are on social media. And if you're not on social media making some type of content, whether it's a reel or some type of flyer post to get your services and your products out there, it's like, okay, if you're just operating from referrals or word of mouth, that's cool. But how much money are you leaving on the table by you not pushing content out there that's geared toward growing your business? So not a conflict of interest unless unless a brand has the same type of services or products that you're doing, and that you would naturally like know to stay away from, because that would take away from your sales, and more than likely a brand is not going to try to work with you if they see you doing the same thing that they do. But if you
Mm-hmm.
have anything to chime in, Matt, when it comes to that.
No, I think you made an excellent point, though. And I think, again, you have to be doing something to set yourself apart. There's a trending sound that says, show in 7 seconds what your small business does.
Love that one.
If you are a content creator that is making content surrounding your business, that should be written at the top of your idea board, and always making sure that the content you're creating shows what your small business does in 7 seconds or less. If you could just keep that idea in your head and make that center around your video, not only will you, because you're going to be passionate about it, not only will your content go up, but you should be getting sales from that. If you're showing your best work and what your business does, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but over time, you can't help but to be successful.
I agree. Now, I think you're mentioning IG, so you feel like you have more views on IG than on Facebook. Well, that's good. Now, my question for
Yeah.
you is, are you in the Instagram Reels Play Bonuses program? Because I am in both. Um, and I found, well, I was introduced to the Instagram Reels Play Bonuses before Facebook. So when Facebook popped up and said 35K a month, I was like, well, is that real? Because Instagram, my
Mm-hmm.
maximum on Instagram is only 1,200 a month. And just to give you a quick like overview of that, I've seen people with way more followers than me only have a maximum of 600, and
Mm-hmm.
people with less followers than me have a higher maximum. So Instagram is kind of get in where you fit in. The invites I feel like is way more random. I know way more people in the Facebook Reels Play bonuses than in the Instagrams. But if you are in Instagram's bonus program, that probably would be beneficial to you, because I cross post mine, to be honest. Post them on Instagram, post it on Facebook, and post it on TikTok. Now, are you doing the same? Are you taking
Mm-hmm.
your same videos and posting them on all your platforms?
The generalized content yet is meant to be cross, to be all across all three, and now four, because I'm doing some of those Snapchat Spotlight. However, because of Facebook Reels, because my audience is such a different audience than what's on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat,
Mm-hmm.
I will tweak that video. But yes, for the most part, I'm just sharing the same raw content, maybe with a small tweak, across four platforms. But I might change the song, the intro, how long the video is. But for the most part, yes, in order to be efficient. In order to be efficient, I am. But
Man,
remember, but remember though, the algorithm across all four platforms are completely different.
yeah, and I think that's so important to note, because Instagram is a whole nother ballpark, especially
Oh,
like for me. It's just like, sheesh, I can't hit my sweet spot on Instagram like I used to, but I still feel like as far as like the bonus program on Instagram, it's like they're cheap compared to Facebook. Facebook is equal opportunity. Everyone, if you're invited, you can make up to
Correct.
35,000. Instagram is
Correct.
like, well, hey, you can make 1,200, and then a friend or somebody else I know can make 600, and they have like triple the following. It's just like, wow, it has everything to do how your profile is set up. And Christy, I can see that you said you missed the notice. Now I think once you miss that notice on Instagram, like I think it's just like a one-time thing. It's like a one-time thing. When you see it, you got to jump on it because they only give you like a few days to accept it. So hopefully you'll see it again. But to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of people being invited to the Instagram bonus program lately. So I think like the people that's in it is in it. And I've been in it probably for about, I want to say about 6 months. I want to say since last summer.
Yeah, well, I think last August or September, Instagram started their bonus.
Yeah. I want to say because it was hot outside when I initially started. So I want to say about August. And then Facebook was like a month later. So Facebook was more so like September or the end of September or something like that. So we'll see how it continues to roll out as they continue to provide us with more details and hopefully more opportunities for people who are not in the program yet. Okay, but we're going to answer a few more questions, guys.
You touched on something important, though, and that is using this opportunity right now, though, to grow other sources of income because you never know when this could go away. Yeah, it's a great point. Great point.
I hate to see it in the group. I mean, I really don't like to see it, but I understand, we are human in different phases in our entrepreneurial or content creator journey. But I do want to say that you need to be thinking big and not playing small. And I'm really big on thinking ahead of the game. So I'm like, well, role play, that's cool. It's a bonus. Let's maximize. Let's use the money and reinvest it back into our business. But at the same time, it's so important just to leverage your social media altogether, not strictly rely on the bonuses, but think outside of the box. Do something like Matt is doing as far as reaching out to these brands, using their products, like trying to provide like value in multiple areas because there's so many things that you can do on social media. And the more content you push, if you are an entrepreneur, then more than likely the more sales that you will get, guys. So just keep that in mind and don't get discouraged because the tension was high a couple of days ago in the group. The tension was high. I was like, oh my God. It's like, no, seriously, the tension was high when those role play bonuses was waiting to be renewed over the weekend. I was like, well, sheesh, I can feel it. I can feel it through my phone how high the tension was. And I was just thinking, wow, I wish I could help motivate and be able to teach others how to maximize their social media outside of this because it's so important. It's super, super important. So we will get more into that in other episodes. But I do want to answer a few more questions that we have here before we hop off because I know I've had you for like over an hour. I really appreciate you, Matt. Someone said, is it true the only way to get bonuses on IG is to be invited by them? And I see I'm eligible, but nothing to get paid out. Yes, just to reiterate that again, it's only if you get invited. And if you are in the Real Talk Business and Motivation Facebook group, on the top of the group, I have a guide section and it says Instagram Reels Play bonuses. And just look at those details because I post how my screen looks, and I also go over like just because it says you're eligible for monetization does not mean you're eligible. Right. Does not mean you're invited. They're just saying, hey, your account is eligible for monetization, but they're not inviting you unless you see a separate invite. So if you
have 100 followers, basically.
Exactly. It's true. Like everyone like literally has that. I think I've only seen a couple people, and they're more than likely people who have violations that says ineligible. All right. You are so welcome, Chrissy. I hope you got something out of it. I'm definitely going to have to look up that song, and I'm going to feel like a fool, like if I heard it before. But other than that, I already feel like I live under a rock. Like,
yeah, it's okay. You'll probably know it. You'll know Reading Rainbow.
I think we answered pretty much all the questions. I'm scrolling again. Someone says, what were your views before your invite? Ty.
I know a lot of people. I can only speak for me. I know there are people that feel that if you're not in the bonus program, that your views are different. I can only tell you from what I've seen, my views have never changed. They are the same. Actually, they're more now. But I've always had very good view videos, regardless of being in or out of the program. I know last month a lot of people said they saw a drop, and yes, they're across all social media platforms. There's always going to be a small period where things drop, temporarily, maybe for the week. But before you start blaming the algorithm, look at your content.
Be accountable.
What did you correct? Be accountable for yourself. I didn't see any drops in anything. If you go back to my bonuses, it went 1,600, 7144. It's only gone up.
Yeah.
So, look, I love you guys, and I guess it's because I'm a dad of 4. I'm tough love. Stop making an excuse. Stop blaming algorithms. Stop blaming whoever. Go back and be accountable for your own content. What is it that you are doing or not doing to make your content get better, to make it get worse? Go back and look at yourself first. Don't make the excuse of, you're lucky. You know what? If you have one video that shot to 1 million and the rest of them stunk, maybe it was luck. I believe in luck, but I also believe in hard work. And if you're working hard and you're planning and you're being accountable for your own work, you will be successful. You will be successful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I do want to say, if you are tuning in right now, or if you are catching a replay, that this is very important to pay attention to, because a lot of people were struggling last month while this guy was implementing his strategy and always pivoting, always looking at his analytics, always taking notes, always trying different approaches, always thinking outside of the box. So his was increasing while so many people I saw their views were dropping and they were getting discouraged instead of saying, hey, well, I tried this for the past few months. Let me try something new. Or, hey, I tried this. Let me take a time to look at the YouTube video and see what has been working for other people, because I see so many people complain but not taking notes. And even me on this show, trust me, I am taking notes of every single guest and comparing. I love research. Yes, I love to be able to research, and I'm super quick learner, especially when I'm able to get insight from everyone else. So one thing I want to say, if this is your first YouTube tuning into, you need to go back to the other YouTubes as well and be able to take notes, pay attention, and also go back and redo yourself and kind of hold yourself accountable. Because I think it's so many people that's counting on this rules play bonuses, but then as much as they count on it, they get discouraged too. And it's just like, this is your only source of income. You definitely should be working it like a job. Now, if you have businesses, and I don't know, some people, serial entrepreneurs, some people have like 4 different things going on. So I can see how you just pushing the content and then you might go back to the drawing board every once in a while. But if this is your only source of income, it's like no reason why you really can't pivot and can't implement. Okay.
I'm curious, who networks with other people in here? Meaning, how many times have you reached out to another person within the group? Because you have the ability to message another group member here and ask them for their advice.
Wow.
Ask them to look at your videos. I can't tell you how many other people in the group I message back and forth with. We potentially share content. We say, look at my video. What do you think of this? Is it good? Is it bad? Should I change something? You have access. Well, how many people are in this group? 2,400 people?
About 25,000. Okay. No, not 25. Ooh, speaking of
2,500,
but 2,500 right now.
You have access to 2,500 other people that you can get input from. How many people have you reached out to and asked for their input?
Yes. But please, in the group, I do prefer people to kind of like make sure it's okay to message somebody, because I know we have spammers and stuff out there. I pretty much
Oh
have it
yeah.
under control now, but I don't mind people private messaging. But please make sure it's warranted. Yes, make sure it's warranted, because besides that, it is breaking the rules, because we don't want to have any type of crazy stuff. But
Oh
it's been
yeah.
really
No.
good. It's been really good. So if you do want to take that conversation outside of the group, that is okay. As long as it's not a conflict of interest of what I do with my business as a businesswoman. Okay. So as long as you guys are just networking, but not doing anything that like marketing or anything, because I'm big with my clients and stuff like that. So I don't want it to be a conflict of interest. But I have no problem if you guys networking, and please take advantage. Please take advantage of everyone and get opinions and take advantage of this YouTube as well. Take advantage instead of getting discouraged. It's like the ability to pivot is so important.
No, it's absolutely, you have to use resources. And if you're struggling, I do it all the time. Reach out to a professional. Seek an expert out if you're having problems. Why would you not do that? Again, if you're thinking of content creation as a business, reach out to people who are smarter than you. I do it every day. I don't consider myself that smart of a guy. I ask for help. I ask experts all the time. It's vital. It's very vital.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we answered all the questions. I'm just skimming one more time, and I think we got you guys. And we actually spent 20 minutes over an hour on here just making sure we gave you all the gems that we could. So I'm really hoping that you guys got value in this video today, taking gems and is loving Matt's assertive approach, because sometimes people need that. Sometimes people really need that. So you will be surprised how many people that you motivated tonight. And my last question for you is, what keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated? You know, motivation, I think it's very individual. I think that everybody has a different reason that makes them do what it is that they do on a daily basis. And motivation is easy when things are going well. It's easy when your business is going well. It's easy when money is going well, when your relationships are going well. Where the difference between people who are successful and people who are struggle, it's not about what they're doing when things are going well. It's what are you doing when things aren't going well? What is it that makes you get up when your views are down, your business is not doing well? And for me, planning is everything. It's almost like muscle memory. If you've ever been an athlete, a dancer, a baseball player, whatever it is, you practice doing something over and over and over and over until your body just does it through muscle memory. And I think that's where the planning comes in. Knowing that if I have a plan, I stick to my plan, being able to pivot though as necessary, but I just keep doing this and grinding and grinding and grinding out the work, you will be successful. So for me, it's knowing that the one freedom of being an entrepreneur and a business owner is that you are your own boss. You don't have to ask permission for a day off. You don't have to ask permission to change something. And for me, that's what motivates me, is knowing I am in control of my own future. I'm building my dream, my net worth, my future. I'm not building someone else's. And that's what motivates me.
Ooh, freedom, financial
Freedom.
freedom, the freedom to work from where I want to work from, the freedom to work when I want to work, like just freedom in general, is what motivates me and men here
Absolutely.
and so many other entrepreneurs. Because think about it. The reason why people don't want to work 9 to 5s is because they don't want to work from 9 to 5, or
Right.
they want to be the boss, and not the worker. They want to build something for their self. So I do think that is super important, guys. And once again, if you are not leveraging your social media, you need to. If you are thinking small, and just strictly like one track minded when it comes to this bonuses, then you need to expand your horizon and maybe have additional tricks or coaching or consulting about how you can maximize your content in other areas. And the one tip that I'm going to drop is LinkedIn. Like if you have a service-based business, you need to be on LinkedIn. I haven't did an in-depth episode on LinkedIn yet, but one of my businesses is definitely service-based, and LinkedIn has been the gym for me to be able to build my clients. And I want to be able to share how to successfully build your LinkedIn connection. So guys, when I say so many social media platforms that you need to be taking advantage of, that is not just Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. It's also platforms outside of that that can help you build your clientele and grow your business, guys. So if you are watching right now, please subscribe and turn your post notifications on. I will be back next Tuesday with another live and special guest. I want to thank you so much again, Matt, for coming on to the show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just love the fact that you are a retired fireman. You have been able to successfully pivot into a content creator, entrepreneur, and the way that you take it seriously. I think a lot of people can learn from what you shared tonight. Your setup, your 2 to 3 hour setup for creating content, how proactive you are, and how you reached out to experts when it came to brand collaborations or your network, people that you already knew that was more so knowledgeable and what you should charge for brand collaborations. I think that's awesome. And I want to be able to encourage people to also do the same. Now, you don't want to ever sell yourself short. So make sure you're taking some of these gems and taking notes and actually taking action after this YouTube. So thank you so much, Matt, for coming on again. It was a pleasure to have you. And if you are in the group, I will see you there. If you're not, you probably need to be there. But other than that, I will see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope everyone has a very productive day and stay motivated. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matt.
Bye-bye.
Gotta go.